What is up, guys? DS3 TV. We are back for another video. This one is PlayStation 2 secrets and censorship on the PlayStation 2, and it's by Digital Gaming. So yeah, I got recommended this channel by one of the subscribers. So if you want to recommend me anything, always just just put it in the comment section down below, and I'll probably give it a look. Also, subscribe to the channel when we get 1,000 subscribers by Valentine's Day. And yeah, so let's get into it. Also, so I've never seen the channel before. Let's actually see what secrets and like what censorships have happened on the PlayStation 2 that I might not have known. So yeah, let's look at that really quick and play.
Time to raise awareness about COVID-19 and show how you can help those most affected. Creators across all platforms are joining together to promote the digital fundraiser #HopeFromHome. All funds from this digital fundraising event will be split between 3 nonprofits: COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund, United Way, and Red Nose Day, and will be used to address the health, food, education, and economic challenges caused by the pandemic. If you have any money to spare, thanks for listening.
By the way, this was like in April, so that's why I just kind of went past it. So.
Did you know? In 2010, Sony launched a 22-inch 720p TV exclusively in Europe as part of its Bravia line. This special TV came with a built-in PlayStation 2, plus access to streaming services and on-demand television. However, this wasn't the first time the PS2 was part of an entertainment system.
That's really dope, honestly.
2003, Sony released the PSX, an entertainment system that played PlayStation 2 games, but came with a few extras. This included a built-in hard drive and a video recorder that could burn DVDs. Players could also transfer media files between the PSX and the PSP via USB. The PSX was the first console to utilize Sony's cross-media bar, or XMB menu. This menu layout was designed for quick access to different kinds of media in a user's library, such as games, music, and movies. The XMB would become standard for both the PSP and the PlayStation 3. Although Sony reported strong sales of the PSX at launch, sales quickly dropped off and retailers began selling inventory at almost half the price. While Sony planned to release the PSX in the US and Europe in 2004, these plans were never realized. There were also a few special controllers made for the system. To tie in with the release of Onimusha 3 Demon Siege, Japanese manufacturer Hori released Katana, the Soul controller, in 2004. This was a roughly 3 feet long wireless controller in the shape of a katana. The blade of the sword was removable, and all the controller's standard buttons were located on the handle of the sword. The main selling point of the katana was its additional motion controls, which let players perform attacks in Onimusha 3 by swinging the controller like a sword. It also came with an instruction manual printed in the form of a traditional Japanese scroll. The katana was Hori's first official product released in the US, and retailed for about $150.
I would have definitely gotten it. That's really cool. I love katanas and I love Japanese culture. I would have gotten it. I would have played the game. That just sounds amazing, honestly.
Another unique third-party controller for the PlayStation 2 was the Thrustmaster Fighting Arena, consisting of a touch-sensitive floor mat and 2 vertical poles with infrared sensors. Designed for fighting games, the device aimed to replace simple button presses with actual punches and kicks to add more immersion to gameplay. The Fighting Arena was released in 2001 and sold for $80. In 2005, Sega released a PlayStation 2 controller modeled after the Sega Saturn's controller. The A, B, X, and Y buttons functioned as the PlayStation 2's X, circle, square, and triangle buttons respectively. L2 and R2 were mapped to the shoulder buttons, and the Z and C buttons were used in place of L1 and R1. The controller also added PS2-style start and select buttons. The idea of Sega releasing an official controller for the PS2 once seemed completely ridiculous, as the Dreamcast was its main competitor at launch. The rivalry between the two companies was so intense that at one point Sega included the anti-PlayStation 2 Easter egg in Sonic Adventure 2. In the game's opening level, a poster urging people to keep playing Sonic Adventure 2 on their Dreamcast can be found on one of the walls, sponsored by the anti-XXX.
Playing SA2 is habit for me. Don't turn off your DC.
XXX2 Association. From the way it's written, it can be interpreted as standing for Anti-Sony PS2 Association. This text was removed when the game was ported to other consoles. While the PlayStation 2 definitively outsold the Dreamcast, there was a period of time where the end result was in question. Right before the PS2's launch, Sony announced they would be cutting back their initial US shipments of the console from 1 million units to 500,000 units due to a shortage of necessary hardware. While some analysts anticipated the lack of supply would drive new sales for the Dreamcast,
the question is, I have for PlayStation, do they just not learn from like past mistakes? Because this happened with the PS5. Literally this happened with the PS5 where they decided to not put out as much because they just didn't have the inventory for it. And it's happening again, and now the competition is Xbox, even though PlayStation is probably still going to sell more, which is kind of weird.
The PlayStation 2 launched to major sales success. However, supply problems continued to be an issue for the system throughout its life. Not long after this, Sony declined to renew several licensing agreements with third-party hardware manufacturers like Mad Catz, who had a big hand in producing PlayStation 2 memory cards. Without the output of these other companies, Sony couldn't make enough memory cards to keep up with demand. Some U.S. stores at the time reported they'd been forced to institute waiting lists for customers looking to buy memory cards. History would repeat itself in 2004. Just before the launch of the newly redesigned PS2 Slim model, Sony admitted demand for the new system had exceeded their expectations, and they would be unable to supply enough Slims for the holiday season. Perhaps the biggest launch delay the PlayStation 2 ever faced occurred in Brazil. There, the PlayStation 2 didn't receive an official launch until the year 2009. One of the primary reasons for the extreme delay was the Brazilian government's trade laws, which enforce steep taxes on imported goods. This also explains why it launched with a price tag equivalent to $460. Even though Brazil didn't get the PS2 until 9 years after its worldwide launch, this was still well within the system's official lifespan. After its release in 2000, the PlayStation 2 remained in production until it was discontinued in early 2013. The last official game released for the PS2 was Pro Evolution Soccer 2014 on November 8, 2013, 1 week before the launch of the PlayStation 4. Beyond that, the system's online servers remained in operation until December 31, 2016. The true end of Sony's official support came when they announced they would no longer be providing repairs for the PS2 after September 7, 2018, almost 18 years after its release. To put that into perspective, the PlayStation 2 was launched while the Nintendo 64 was still on the market, and its official support did not end until after the Wii U was discontinued and the Nintendo Switch was on sale. At the end of the line, the PlayStation 2 sold over 155 million units, making it the best-selling console of all time. The PS2 also introduced several groundbreaking features that had never been seen in a video game console. For instance, the PS2 took advantage of the PSP to offer some inventive new gameplay experiences. While connection between the PS2 and PSP was hyped up as a major new feature of the handheld, only a handful of games actually took advantage of it. Several of these, like Crash Tag Team Racing, simply unlocked new content like vehicles or tracks by connecting to its counterpart on the PSP. But some games took it a step further. Titles like FIFA 08, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, and Super Monkey Ball Adventure let players transfer their save data between the PlayStation 2 and PSP versions. This made it possible for players to start the game on their home console and take it with them on the go. Although the Dreamcast was the first home console to feature a digital camera peripheral with the Dream Eye, the PS2's EyeToy was the first to achieve international success and widespread support. Originally envisioned by Dr. Richard Marks, a technology consultant from Stanford University, the EyeToy was released worldwide across 2003. In addition to its use in video games, the EyeToy also served as a functioning USB webcam. Several unofficial drivers exist allowing the EyeToy to be used on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. An interesting fact about the PS2's EyeToy is that it caused problems for the development of Little Big Planet. 2 weeks before development was scheduled to end, a Japanese QA tester found an unidentifiable bug that caused the game to crash entirely. The tester would leave the game running overnight, and every night the game would crash without fail. Media Molecule co-founder Alex Evans said, "We could not reproduce it. Eventually we realized they had an EyeToy plugged into the PS3. Finally, we noticed the crash was always around 4 a.m. Why? What happened only in Japan at 4 a.m.? Eventually the answer came. Cleaners arrived. They were more thorough than our cleaners. 1 hour of vacuum cleaner white noise near the EyeToy caused the in-game chat audio compression to leak a few bytes of memory. This leak led to a crash. It took Media Molecule days of non-stop investigation to find the issue and ended up fixing the bug just 5 minutes after identifying it. With such a huge and diverse library of games, it's not surprising that many of them were subject to censorship. One game affected was the rather strange PS2 exclusive Dog's Life, which had its ending altered in Japan. At the end of the game's international version, the main villain Miss Peaches is fed into a blood-stained cat food processing machine. It's then stated that Peaches is now cat food. In the Japanese version, the section where Peaches is turned into cat food is entirely removed. Despite the changes to make it more kid-friendly, the Japanese game also adds a gun-cocking sound just before Peaches is pushed into the machine. Another PS2 exclusive that was censored is Twisted Metal Black. The game's European release suffered from many cuts, including the removal of all but one cutscene. This meant roughly 1 hour of video was removed, and the game's story along with it. Other cuts included the removal of the Boeing 747, drivers running from their wreckage while on fire, the loading screen text pieces, and in-game info of the drivers. However, short clips of the cutscenes were shown during the credits, as well as a gameplay clip showing the 747 being shot down. Unsurprisingly, PS2 releases of the Grand Theft Auto series also face censorship. The German version of GTA 3 was heavily censored to meet a US K-16 rating. Some of the more notable changes were the removal of blood, as well as headshots and amputations. Players were also unable to hit anyone while they were on the ground, and no money would drop from NPCs who were killed. In addition to this, all rampage missions were removed. The censorship was so intense it sparked a rumor that it was impossible to run over pedestrians in the German release, though this rumor was false. All of these measures were taken with the German version of GTA Vice City as well. But Vice City had its own instances of censorship beyond this. One scene in Vice City sees Tommy Vercetti talking to director Steve Scott during the filming of an adult movie. In the Japanese version of the game, the scene was heavily censored to not only remove the actors within the film, but also much of the audio. Dance Dance Revolution Supernova, which was a PS2 console exclusive, was also censored. The song Robo Girl by the Crystal Method actually goes by the name of Robo in real life. The name was changed in order to ensure the game kept its ESRB rating. Not all censorship on the PS2 was done to mask sex and violence, however. In the case of Dark Cloud 2, the game's English releases simply took every instance of the word wine and replaced it with grape juice. This can be seen frequently throughout Chapter 2, which covers the Furbit's love of the drink. Did you also know that the Nintendo Wii was planned to have DVD playback, or that a fairly impressive Wii prototype of Batman Arkham Asylum was made, but was scrapped? For more facts, check out the Did You Know Gaming.
I did hear about that on the Wii though. I did hear about that. But yeah, that was a good video. Talk to you guys in the next one. Also subscribe to the channel. Want to get 1,000 subscribers by Valentine's Day. And also put videos that you want me to react to in the comment section down below. And yeah, talk to you guys in the next video. And peace.